Yeah, in later gens, they'll just go, fuck you. You will fight this battle. We don't even care that you're outnumbered.
It's fucking
mostly because they kind of reduce the amount of double battles.
Which is unfortunate because I like double battles.
Yeah, double battles are fun, and they are the center of competitive in most environments. In most official.
A lot more strategizing than a single battle.
Yeah.
More synergies.
But what a lot of people don't realize when they're getting into competitive is just how often you need to fucking switch your Pokemon. In single battles in particular. Jesus fuck. They hey, better ban Baton Pass. Fuck you, Smogon! Is it Smogon or official Pokemon?
You're asking me like all of that didn't just go over my head.
Okay. Yeah, fuck Smogon. It was, Baton Pass was a move where what it did was it allowed you to switch Pokemon as a move instead of through the switch button.
Okay.
Now that sounds really niche and borderline worthless, but you know how Poochyena has that move named Howl where it like increases his attack?
Yeah.
Baton Pass will transfer all of those buffs.
Oh.
And so there were these teams called Baton Pass teams where they would basically stack these buffs over and over again, and they would just and then they would switch to a bulky-ish sweeper that would just try and one-shot the enemy team.
Okay, like, I'm sympathetic to they completely got rid of a playstyle, but at the same time, that sounds really unfun to play against.
So, here's the thing. The only reason it got banned is because people didn't want to play around it. There are tons of moves that are completely viable that, like, Dragon Tail. 90 base power, I think 95 accuracy. If it makes contact, they have to switch the Pokemon. And it's really easy to disrupt. You can use Clear Smog, which is like a fucking 50 base power move that clears terrain and clears stat buffs. There are answers to it. People just didn't want to play against it. No! That's...
It's kind of overcorrecting.
Yeah, I mean, this is my problem overall with the Smogon players. They're typically idiots. And burning a lot of bridges by saying that future Corwin put fire fucking emotes on the thing or whatever. Put a fire graphic.
I'm just gonna put for this entire like section rant you've just done. I'm just gonna have your home address on screen.
Good. That address on
through
screen.
The night, I'll have failed.
Mail me a bomb.
Mail him 2 bombs. Mail him 3 bombs. Never enough bombs that you've mailed him.
So, first of all, I hate Smogon. That should probably be out there. As a huge Pokemon fan, and I hate Smogon? What? No, I think Smogon is,
Okay, so, slow it down. What is a Smogon?
So, Smogon is one of the organizations that basically, tries to decide... Their goal is to organize the Pokemon meta so that way people have an entry point into competitive Pokemon.
An admirable goal.
It's an admirable goal because boy is getting into competitive Pokemon hard.
Boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh fucking boy.
And it's in part due to people like you, actually.
Well, okay. So, I mean... not really. Like, I mean, what do you mean by people like me?
People like you who are way into the game and know all of this shit.
So yes, I know way too much, but I'm willing to help people out with it. And like, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, you don't know how to farm for speed IV or EVs? What an idiot!
Well,
No,
that's the thing is like you don't have to be that way. Just a lot of the time, presence like that can be a huge detracting factor. Like a lot of people talk about like, oh man, I'd love to go to like a Smash tournament, but I'm afraid I'd get wombo comboed in my first game. It's like, sure, but like learn from it.
Yeah. The there's a lot of Pokemon members. There's a lot of members of the Pokemon community who are really smug and just awful to interact with, and awaiting the hate mail and you just don't know. You just didn't interact with the community
that is the case
enough.
with
Whatever.
Like every competitive scene. You play the fucking
that's with every
FGC. There are so many miserable cunts in the FGC.
And honestly, Pokemon isn't even the worst. Honestly, they're not as bad as a lot of the other competitive things I've tried to get into, like Magic and just Gwent and all of this other stuff.
It's a rock gym, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a rock gym. You are very well prepared because you have 2 water types. I would start with Pelipper.
That's what I'm doing.
And kill the trainers.
Rock gym, rock sand. Roxanne! You don't have to put on the red light. Work these streets for money. You do not care if it is wrong or if it is right.
It's right.
Roxanne!
So I dislike Smogon, partially because they decide the tiers based on play rates in their Pokemon Showdown.
That really should not be the case.
I mean, it's...
to me, tier list is always how strong it is, not how played it is.
Yeah, well, so the tier lists go from never used
okay,
to...
so it's not like S tier at
So,
the top.
So it goes from never used, rarely used, underused, overused, and then Uber. And overused is known as OU. That's typically what people play.
Okay.
Like that's the... I mean, you can play anything from your tier or below, and I feel the tier I typically played was quote-unquote underused, and I feel like there's just a lot of Pokemon there who didn't deserve to be there. And as somebody who played underused, there were a lot of members of the overused community who looked down on the underused and other tiers. Like, we were idiots who didn't know how to play the game. Like,
That's fine.
We obviously didn't know how to play the game. We were just idiots. Obviously, overused is the correct
Fox in
meta to play.
20XX. Oh, what a scrub!
Yeah, basically like that.
You have fun wrong.
This is nowhere near a majority. This is a small population, and this was way back. So maybe it's changed. I wouldn't know. I don't care. But, I feel like, Pokemon Showdown, so Pokemon Showdown is the application that's used, where basically, you have the full library, like, every single Pokemon available to you, and you can make whatever team you want, and to a certain extent, I see this as admirable, because you can completely skip all the bullshit of having to breed egg moves and TMs and all this shit and tutors, and transferring Pokemon between gens, and only having event Pokemon. I can see it as good as being able to skip a lot of the bullshit. Being able to skip EV training and IV breeding. You know what? Some people just don't want to do that. The problem is that it's such an easy system to get into that people just say, why would I bother going to an actual Pokemon tournament when this is just easier?
Fair enough.
Which to a certain extent I can understand, but oh, you want to switch? I was not paying attention.
It is far too late for me to switch now.
Yeah, I just looked at the fucking screen and just saw
melted.
I saw. If I were paying more attention, I would have told you to switch. I apologize.
That's okay. I should have known to switch there. I was like, whatever. Birdie Boy will get damaged, then he'll die.
Fun fact: Rock type is super effective against Flying type, and we'll just kick your shit in.
Oh, fuck off.
It doesn't do
so
anything.
I can't escape now. I thought it was blocking a move. That's disable. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you!
So, I can understand why Pokemon Showdown is preferred by a lot of people, but I think even though its goals are admirable, it hinders the community more than it helps. Because I actually went to a Pokemon Center in New York and had a fucking great time at one of the IRL events. Like, if you're into Pokemon and you have the chance, go to a local tournament. They're tons of fun, and they aren't hard at all, and they're and it's just a great time to spend with the community. And obviously, what I'm saying is for years ago. I don't know if this is currently true, but local events, they're fun.
So I'm thinking I'm not going to be learning Bide.
No, Bite is worthless.
Yeesh.